I can just tell you that it gave me a lot of motivation to take what I learned through each session and put it into good use by spreading the messages I learned in a positive way. So specifically, the presentation made by Rebecca Davis was extremely emotional, is really the only word I can come up with, and I was able to connect with it. Attending this session, I learned the amazing impact of determining your passion and using it in a way that positively affects people. Rebecca Davis discussed how she was able to take her love for dance, bring it to impoverished countries, and use it in a way that eventually provided an education and an opportunity for children, getting them off the streets and eventually providing them an education. Dr. Patti also mentioned,
sorry.
No, it's okay. A quote that she had stated that struck a chord with me that honestly has forever changed me. A boy from Rwanda that she was speaking with, she was saying that she was going to be returning to the States and sharing their stories, and she said, "What would you like me to tell them?" And he said, "I want them to know that we exist." So from that point on, everything seemed to fall into place for me quickly with this connection we were supposed to be making. I knew that I wanted to take what I learned from her presentation and connect it to my own life. So first I needed to determine what my passion for life was and what was important to me. So for Rebecca Davis it was dance, but for me, being a special education major, it's helping people with disabilities and not only giving them access to everything that they should already have, but letting people know that they too exist, something that unfortunately is overlooked in society today. I work for an agency called People Incorporated. Specifically, I'm a program instructor for a respite program called the Amherst Themed Learning Club. The ages of my individuals range from 10 to 21 years old, and I wanted to take all that I learned from the AFP project and put it into action with my individuals. So our program is stationed out of Amherst High School, and I consider our group just as much a part of the high school as any other group. I decided I wanted to combine the idea of I want them to know that we exist, at quote, with the sense of collaboration with a group in Amherst High School. So the individuals in my program are extremely talented. They always have a positive outlook on life and are the most kind-hearted people that you will ever meet. Each of them embodies amazing talents and strengths that deserve to be seen. So I wanted the students of Amherst High School and really anyone to learn from them and give them an opportunity, give those individuals an opportunity to teach and show people everything that they're capable of. By doing this, it not only created an opportunity for students in the school to actually get to know us, but it also opened their eyes to their abilities rather than their disabilities. A sense of collaboration and friendship could be made in this experiment, and I can very proudly say that it definitely happened, and it was so cool. So I chose the girls volleyball team, the JV volleyball team in the high school, showed interest in working with us. They kind of looked at us in the hallways and would wave, but they weren't really sure who we were. I designed a 5-week program that involved things like icebreaker activities, learning skills from the volleyball girls. We went down to the gym and they taught us how to play, which was hysterical. We went to some of their games, we made posters for them and we watched them play. And the big part of it was the individuals in my program got to come up with one of their talents and teach them to the girls volleyball team. And it kind of all wrapped up that we had kind of a party on our last day, and everybody got to get up and perform their talents. We had a pizza party, and it was so fun. So the experience for me, my coworkers, and all the individuals involved got more out of it and enjoyed it more than I could have ever imagined. The individuals with disabilities learned from the volleyball team, drills and techniques of volleyball, but they also learned about teamwork and sportsmanship, which are characteristics that will help them throughout the rest of their lives. Reversely, the kids in my program were able to both perform and teach the girls on the team their talents, which included things like clogging and Irish jigging, juggling, singing, and dancing. It's difficult for me to put into words the atmosphere and the energy in the room each time these groups came together. The positive the positivity, excitement, and genuine friendships that were formed and continue to grow each day solidified my belief that what I was doing was a good thing, the right thing that should have never taken this long to happen. The responses I received from the girls on the volleyball team, I kind of asked them to do a little reflection, were very moving, and I wanted to just show you a couple of them. So one said, I learned that no matter who you are still capable of doing anything if you set your mind to it. Another said, I learned that even if you are someone with a disability, it shouldn't limit you. Rather, it should be your motivation to be even better at something than people would think you could be. Someone else said, from this experience, I've learned how important it is to always be yourself and to never lose sight of what is important to you. Another girl said, I learned to be more patient around others and how doing something so small can mean so much to someone. And this last one, I was in shock. I loved it so much. She said, I really enjoyed this experience. It was so heartwarming to see how the individuals in this program were so happy, grateful, and positive. I think this will impact me greatly in the future and will always keep in mind to never take things for granted in my own life. I felt so great after spending time with a group of people who have such a positive outlook on life. Most importantly, I learned that these people should be treated just like I am. They are no different than me and were able to teach me things I never thought would be able to do. And this girl learned how to fly, actually. Thank you for such a memorable experience. Unfortunately, due to confidentiality policies within my agency and the individuals, I'm not able to show you video from our performance. Everybody got up and did their talents, and it was, if I could show you, believe me, you would love it. I did take pictures also, and although I can't show their faces, I chose a few of them, and I just wanted you to get to look at them, and I'm going to try and put into perspective the atmosphere and the excitement that he had. I'm going to try, but... So this first picture, the girl on the left is on the volleyball team, and the boy is one of the individuals. This was the second time that we had met with them. The boy was showing the volleyball girl, whose name is Claire, the boy was showing Claire sheet music for a song he was learning with his vocal coach, and he wanted the two of them to perform the song together. After speaking with the two, Claire expressed how amazed she was at the difficulty of the song, and she said, "It gets so high, I can't believe he can sing so high." The look on his face that the boy showed because of his excitement that someone was showing genuine interest in him and what he likes to do was absolutely priceless. So that's one of them. Those are the circles hiding the faces. So here we have one girl on the volleyball team and two of my individuals. This was also our second meeting. Let me just explain. The first meeting, we did icebreaker games just so everybody could get to know who they were, what they like to do, things like that. The second meeting, I paired up one or two of my individuals with one of the volleyball girls, and they sat down together and talked about specifically what do you like to do, what are your talents, what are your strengths. So that was what was going on this day. The individual on the right was practicing her Irish jigging, and she was trying to teach our volleyball player, Mary Claire, how to do it as well. The girl on the right, she's very limited verbally, but she loves music. So as soon as the music started, she did not stop moving until I literally had to pull her away. Mary Claire, the volleyball player, watched and observed in amazement and also fear, wondering how she was going to be able to do it, or how the individual was doing it, but how she was ever going to learn how to do it, because that's what they were going to perform together. I constantly heard screaming, laughing, clapping as they were practicing. And it was so nice to see them working together doing something that they loved. The last one, this was the last day we met. So knowing the people with the circles on their faces are the individuals with disability, I believe this picture kind of speaks for itself. The way that these two groups came together, formed friendships, and learned from one another was the goal of my project. This picture shows the unity that formed, the excitement of everyone's faces, but most importantly that they are friends. No differences among one another are shown, but just the formation of a true and genuine friendship. So just to wrap up, this experience gave me the chance to figure out what my passion was in life and use it in a way that could have a positive effect on people. I wanted this to continue. I wanted to say, what could I do so this keeps happening not only at my program but across the agency. And I am happy to say that directors of the agency heard of this project and have asked me to speak at a manager meeting next month and kind of explain what I did. So they have vowed to adopt this theme of collaboration within their programs, combining peers that are disabled and non-disabled across the agency, and I could not be more proud of that. I just want to thank Dr. Patti for allowing the time in our class when I didn't think we had any time to attend the Anne Frank project, and her recognizing the significance of the event and how greatly it affected us. And I also want to share my extreme gratitude to you two, the founders, the directors, and everybody involved for creating something so magical and exhilarating, an experience that I was extremely moved by and I'll never forget. So thank you.
Was dance myself. I've been dancing since first grade and done theater all of my life, and I paired that a lot with teaching, and I've gotten experience in teaching through theater and dance, and I've been very grateful for that. But I never took dance into my classrooms or my field experiences or placement. So when I went to Rebecca Davis and heard what she had to say, she really inspired me to take that passion into the classroom and not just teach dance myself outside, but bring it into the curriculum that they learn in the school. So in my lesson, I was asked by my cooperating teacher to teach a lesson about writing and reading a passage and responding appropriately using restating the question in your answer and answering incomplete sentences and reading over again to make sure that everything was clear. So they came up with an acronym called RACER. The R standing for restating the question, A standing for answering the question in complete sentences, C, citing evidence in your response, so looking back in the passage and finding your answer, editing, going back and reading what you wrote, and then R, rereading it once again to make sure that everything was good. So my lesson was to teach them that and apply that in the questions that they were asked after reading a passage. So I took the song of Old MacDonald and made it into a song with the acronym to help them remember the acronym when they were answering, and I put movements to it. So I'm going to show you the video, only the first two clips for time, and then teach you the movements, and then just like, because at the conference too, it was so motivating in a doing conference. I've been to conferences that it isn't necessarily doing, you learn just as much, but I really liked how even Rebecca Davis had us get up in the workshop right then and there and do movements. So I decided to use that in the classroom. So the first part is RACER reminds us how to respond. So you start driving a car, so RACER reminds us how to respond. So every time it says that, you're just trying like you're driving a car and putting your arms out. And
so
then,
you want us to do that, right, Mary?
yes.
Okay.
So,
feel free to call on people who are not doing it.
So the first part is RACER reminds us how to respond. And then the first part is first you restate the question in your answer. So first you restate the question, like you're making a question mark, so like that. So first you restate the question in your answer, and then the song goes on, but it's fast, so I didn't do any movements to it. And then it goes back to RACER. So RACER reminds us how to respond, and then the second you answer incomplete sentences for the kids to really see beginning and end of a sentence. So second you answer incomplete sentences, and then that's all I'll teach you for now. But ready? And the kids loved it because I'm not the greatest singer, so they really got to laugh at me.
Raise a reminder how to respond. First, you restate the question in your answer. It'll help the reader know what you're saying. Reader saying, restate the question. Raise a reminder how to respond. Second, you answer incomplete sentences. It should have a capital in the front and punctuation at the end. Capital punctuation complete sentences.
So that's just a little idea.
It's like Schoolhouse Rock. I love it.
So that was, it was fun to do that with the kids, and I think for them to see how English and reading and writing can be fun, and like you said, putting the same things that are in the Common Core, but making it more fun. So that really inspired me, and I'm really excited to take this idea, and I've gotten all of my embarrassments from doing it out of the way, and I can do it in student teaching and, in my classroom. So I really enjoyed it, and I'm really appreciative for going to the conference and getting that idea from Rebecca Davis. So thank you.
So the AFP project for me came at a really great time. I'm going to kind of explain pre-AFP project, what was going on in my life, what happened when I was at the conference, and then how I decided to respond to it. The name of my presentation, or the name of what you can see in your little pamphlet there, is Education Around the World. It's just talking about, teaching students and what is school like in different places around the world. And this summer I had the awesome opportunity of going to the Dominican Republic with the church organization. And while we were there for the week, we did a lot of different outreach things, work projects. So this picture right here is a school that we helped finish. We did all of the coding on the painting and the primer, all the different things that we did for the school. The building was already there. That was built by an organization that came probably about a month before we were there. We also put on day programs in a village called Quisqueya, which is a very poor village. We were located probably about half an hour out of Santo Domingo, which is the capital. And we would just go into the village, and there'd be kids everywhere, like, Americans, Americans. They would always see us and just kind of flock around us. And then we would just find a meeting place, and we would play games and sing songs and just do lots of different crafts with them. And it was awesome just to be able to invest in them. And I learned a lot about what education was in a year, and obviously this is one of my passions. And basically, they're very recently big on saying, the government is offering free education to all students. This is something that has happened within the last, I think, maybe about 5 to 10 years ago. And it's very big there, the government's very proud of this. But one thing is that it's requires students to have, school supplies, to have a uniform. And a lot of the children that I encountered were unable to afford that. So they're not allowed to go to school then, which is really sad because to us it's such a small little thing, but to them it's a world of difference. As far as, $40 is basically what it would cost American dollars to get a uniform and the school supplies that they're in need of. But none of them have that. Most of their parents, if they have parents, can't afford that. They're not working. Jobs just kind of come and go. It's not very stable. So definitely one of the big parts of the conference while I was there that hit me was Rebecca Davis. And the one thing that she said was one way that governments, and this isn't a direct quote, I'm kind of rewording it, one way that governments keep their people enslaved is by making education inaccessible to all of their people. And I thought this was just a very interesting thing, and it hit me hard because I was moved in the Dominican about this fact that there are so many kids I met that they don't have the ability to learn how to write, to read. Most of them don't know how to spell their name. They can't write their name for you. Just different things, and it was really sad to me because my whole life I've had the ability to go as far as I wanted with my education. And I still have the ability. I can keep going. Maybe take a lot of loans along the way, but I can keep going. And they don't even have that at all. And as we were walking, or actually that's another card, sorry. Oh yeah, no, I'm right. As we were walking through one of the villages, There's a translator with me who was a wonderful, wonderful woman. She began a school in the village of Cascaya, and she lived there. So the people had a lot of respect for this woman. She's grown up in the community, and now she's making a difference in the community. And as we were walking, there was an older woman with us, and the woman said, "These streets are like prison bars. Many see no way out, and those who do have no way of attaining it." And that hit my heart. I mean, to hear someone say that, you know, there's these kids and they can see, okay, I need to learn, I need to become educated. That's what I need to do to get out of here, you know, to get away from the drugs, to get away from all these different things. But they have no way, no means to attain that. So that is definitely something that stuck with me that throughout my whole time. And at the Anne Frank Project, to the quote that kind of guided it all this year was, "How wonderful is it that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world." And I remember hearing that at the opening ceremonies, and the Dominicans definitely touched my heart. And I know that I eventually want to go back there. I'm in the process of applying for a program there after I graduate and hoping that I can go there and teach and just different things. But I was thinking, what can I do now? You know, what can I do in these moments? Because, you know, nothing's guaranteed. And this quote definitely motivated me to think, all right, how am I going to raise awareness now? What can I do, you know, while I'm still here in the States? Because I kind of don't want to be here. Honestly, my heart's over there. But it got me thinking, and definitely this opportunity to respond through the project. So I decided to teach in my class at Maryvale. I was in the 3rd grade self-contained 15-1 class. And I decided to teach them about different schools around the world, and it happened that it was right around Thanksgiving, and then they would respond with thankfulness about what they have as far as school and education here in the States. So I found this beautiful book, which, if you're in education, you should look into this, because it was really wonderful, and it's called My School in the Rainforest, and it talks about just different schools all over the world, and, you know, it says the positive things about the schools there, but also the things that, you know, they struggle with, you know, the fact that they might not have money for school supplies, or different things like that, or that they don't have desks, they have to sit on a dirt floor to learn, and just different things. And I read that to the students and kind of modeled throughout it, oh, look that's a difference from us, you know, we get to sit in a chair at school, and they don't. And then together, which is right in this picture, we talked about, I asked the kids to raise their hands if they saw any differences, what were some comparisons that they could see between their school here in the States and schools in different parts around the world. And then they end it with making their own little I'm thankful for books. And it was really awesome because the kids, I mean, the things that they wrote, like this one says, I'm thankful for learning, not spelled correctly, but it's good just to get it right. And they just do little pictures, and then they talked about other things they were thankful for, like their family. But some of the things were so funny, like the one kid said he was thankful for chocolate milk in school and the cafeteria. It was just to get them thinking about things that they have that other kids don't have around the world. And it was very impactful for me. Specifically, one of the little girls came up to me at the end of the lesson and she goes, "Mrs. Cuddy, you're just such a nice person." And I thought that was so cute when she said that to me, but it made me think, you know, kids realize when people do things that are different in the world. And that sets an example for them. And I think that's kind of what the whole project is about raising awareness for social injustices, and that we can do that through the simplest things, through just speaking about it, through just sharing it. And I don't know if those kids in the class, you know, one day they might look back and think, I want to make a difference, you know, just from hearing a little bit about what I had done in the Dominican, even though it's very small and minimum, but it spoke to some of them, and they realized that as being something different. So it was just really encouraging. I'm so thankful for the project, and it kind of came at a perfect time in my life, and I'm excited to see how much further it goes for me. But, thank you.